Greetings, my empire. Drezu here, back with another video, and today I want to make a video on Magblade and how I feel about it. Feel about the class right now. And for a long time now, I feel like for me it started in Blackwood and kind of lingered on in Deadlands. But Magblade has been a class that's been unplayable for me in PvP. Specifically Cyrodiil and Imperial City. I feel like, compared to the other classes, they just perform really bad. Like they don't perform well. They they lack in multiple categories. Now, I've been tinkering with Magblade a lot, I've been tinkering with them with the class a lot. I've tried to, make a build where I can, perform in Imperial City and Cyrodiil well. Now I'm, being specific about those two because NBG's Magblade does do pretty good in, and Dual Magblade does okay in. Uh, there's some classes that just simply, overpower Magblade and Dual, but for the most part, it does okay. And then BG's Magblade does really good, but for the most part, every class can do good in BG, so I'm not going to really count that. But Imperial City, Cyrodiil, Magblade just feels like it underperforms. It doesn't do well. And like I said, I've been tinkering around with Magblade a lot. I've made just a whole, I've tried out a whole bunch of versions of Magblade just to see if I could find something that I can, use. Uh, you know, I went the hybrid route, heavy armor route, light armor route, trying to use shields, for sustain. I tried to go a route where I use, go more healing. I went a penetration route. I went a spell damage route. I went a health route. Uh, I went a full ganker. The ganking build actually did okay. I'm not gonna lie, the ganking build did all right. I still didn't like how it performed. I still felt like uh, I wasn't doing, having as much impact as I wanted to, but it did okay. Uh, you know, it did the best out of all of them, but it still felt bad. The only, type of Magblade that I really didn't go was a bomber. And the reason I didn't go a Magblade bomber was because that's something I really don't encourage for the game. I feel like it's really toxic for the game, and I don't want to add more toxicness to the game than it already has. So I'm not gonna, go a Magblade bomber. But pretty much everything else you could think of, I've tried it on Magblade, and it simply just feels like they underperform. If I could put it in my own words, it feels like they don't have enough damage. Um, how can I say DPS? I feel like Magblade has damage, but in damage in a certain amount of time, in a short amount of time, I feel like it takes them too long, you know, to get their damage, to damage somebody a significant amount. I feel like it takes too long. I feel like Magblade has some of the worst sustain. Now, I'm not gonna say the worst healing in the game. I feel like as a class, it has the worst healing in the game right now. Um, the only thing that Magblade really excels in, and I feel like, really does good in, is resource sustain. And pretty much every build, I had no problem sustaining my resource. It was kind of easy. I never had a problem with resources with any of my builds. But other than that, in terms of damage, healing, sustain in general, I feel like it really lacked, and I feel like I didn't sustain as you know, sustain better than any class. I didn't do as much damage as any class. I feel like classes simply would just, I would outplay a person, have a better build than a person, yeah, and just because that person was a certain class, they're just simply overpowering me. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to keep complaining about Magblade. I want to look at it as a class, and I want to just, show y'all some things that I feel like Magblade can use a buff on. Um, and things that would make it a better class. So let's go look at it right now. Let's go to MacBlade. Let's go to the skills. Let's look at it right now. So a couple of things I want to talk about MacBlade is uh right now. Let's go to Soul Harvest. Soul Harvest. This is uh I forget the base version of this ability, but Soul Harvest basically, most Mag Blades run this as their ult, as their, offensive ult. And looking at Soul Harvest, this ability is not really good. It does magic damage, and when you use it on somebody, the target takes 20% more damage for 6 seconds, whoever you use it on, and inflicts major defile. And while sliding, when you kill an enemy, you gain 10 ultimate. Now, this ultimate, I feel like people only use it for the 20% more damage. Everything else that it does, I feel like it's really not that good. The damage is not that good. The it gives major defile, which is okay. And when you kill people, you get 10 ultimate. I guess it's cool, but I feel like it should have the same effect like end cap, where when you hit 120 ultimate, it should have another effect, and either it stuns, or I guess it should have stunned because it'd just be like end cap. But it'll be a magical version of end cap, so would it be that bad? But I don't know. Maybe it could stun. Maybe it could give another debuff on the person if it's 120 ultimate, like end cap, or um, I said end cap, like major invulnerability or minor invulnerability, or another type of debuff, on the person when it reaches a certain amount of ultimate. Because I feel like this ult doesn't really do a lot, and I feel like it should do more. Using it, me like, and I'm just saying this from from experience and using this ult a lot. It just feels like it doesn't do enough. I feel like it doesn't do enough. It doesn't have enough impact on the target, and I feel like it should get some sort of buff. Like I said, the perfect buff with it should, for this ult, it should have something like Incap, have an additional effect at 120 ultimate. Now, another thing about Nightblade, I feel like that should change, is Shadow Barrier. Shadow Barrier, basically, when you cast a Shadow ability, you gain major resolve, and the effect duration is increased for the amount of heavy armor you're using. Now, on Magblade, if you're not a Nightblade running heavy armor, the uptime on this is kind of low. Um, if you're running like a light, mostly light armor, mostly medium armor, whatever, the uptime is gonna be low for you. I have 2 pieces of heavy armor, and the uptime is only 9 seconds for me. Now, on Stanblade, this probably wouldn't be that bad because Stanblade surprise attack is your spamble, so you're probably gonna be having this up, 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 most of the time. But for Magblade, if you're a Magblade that's running, Shadow Cloak, and if you it's even worse for you if you're a Magblade and you don't run Shadow Image, But if you as a Magblade, you probably have Shadow Cloak and Shadow Image. You have one of the most, either Shadowy Disguise or Dark Cloak or whatever. You know, the uptime on this, you know, probably won't correlate with what you're trying to do, And I know I worded that kind of weird, but let me explain. Say you're in a situation where, you're a Nightblade who use Dark Cloak, and say you're in a situation where you don't need to use Dark Cloak, but you don't have your Shadow Barrier up, so you're kind of just using Dark Cloak for no reason. Or say you're a Nightblade and you have Shadowy Disguise. You don't need to cloak right now, but your Shadow Barrier is not on, so you kind of forcing yourself to cloak. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Basically, the problem I have with this passive is the uptime. I feel like what they should do is just to change this to where when you use the shadow ability, you get 20 seconds on your major resolve. I feel like that's where it should be because it's just kind of weird, and I feel like having a higher uptime, especially for Magblades, will really help with overall sustain uh, as it is, to engage in battles and to disengage. I feel like just having a higher uptime will just help your Magblade sustain overall. Now, let's talk about Magblade healing in general. Like I said, Magblade probably has some of the worst healing in the game. We have Swallow Soul. Now, Swallow Soul, this is an offensive heal. It does damage, and it does magic damage, and you heal for 36% of the damage inflicted every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. This is okay. This is a decent offensive heal. It does decent damage. I feel like the flat damage should be buffed on this. To give us more healing. Because in PvP and Imperial City Citadel, healing gets nerfed by 55%. So, excuse me. Yeah, this is good. This is a good offensive heal, but I don't feel like it's healing us enough. And I feel like the DPS for this ability is not really good. You're not going to be doing a lot of damage in a good amount of time with this ability, but you're kind of forced to run this ability because you need your heals. You need them. This is one of the only abilities you can use as a Magblade to sustain yourself. Now, we do have Dark Cloak. Now, Dark Cloak is a okay healing ability. I feel like the flat healing should be increased, and it should, the healing over time should be a little bit more. But Dark Cloak is a okay heal. It gives minor protection, but I feel like it should give more healing. Um, it just is not the best heal in the world. It's not the best heal in the world. I feel like it doesn't do too much healing. It's an okay heal. It's something good to have. But if you're a Nightblade that does heroic Dark Cloak, you're doing Shadow Disguise. You don't even have this heal. But for this as a heal, it's okay, but it's not the best compared to what other classes get. I'm comparing this to what other classes get. This is not a really good heal. Now, Magblade healing is so bad that you're kind of forced to run restoration staff. All my builds, I'm kind of forced to. Some builds I wanted to go, sort of unique type things. Like I wanted to go like something like a staff, sword and shield, or like a dual wield sword and shield, something like that. But I couldn't because you simply don't have enough sustain to, afford not using restoration staff. You're kind of forced to run, have it to have rapid regeneration, healing ward if you're running type of, a shield type deal. You're kind of forced to run restoration staff, and I feel like that's really, really not good. Um, Being forced out, you have to have restoration staff. You're not gonna be able to keep yourself up just because your class doesn't have enough sustain, in the class abilities to do what it needs to do. Magblade is probably one of the only magic classes, you know, where they just are forced to run restoration staff. You know, Templars have healing in their kit. Wardens have healing in their kit. Even Sorks have decent healing and really good shields in their kit. But in terms of healing and shields, I, I feel like Magblade doesn't really do good in, and their abilities are kind of awkward for them. But that's pretty much, what I wanted to say. I could go on and on, but I feel like I get the picture. Magblade is not performing really well. I feel like they need some buffs. I hope, in the newest update, I see ESO about to drop another big, chapter release. I feel like Magblade should get some love, some buffs. Um, that they truly just need because really they they're underperforming right now. Even bombers are not doing good right now. Bombing just doesn't work right now. But thank God, that's something that's good actually. I ain't gonna lie, but Mag Blaze needs something. They need they need something. You know, I'm just throwing out ideas, but they need something to buff them to help them keep up with other classes. Because in terms of, you know, fighting other classes, you know, going against other classes, you know, me even going up against Magblades in general, I feel like they don't do enough. I feel like I can sustain Magblade damage pretty easily. I feel like I can do damage to a Magblade pretty easily unless, you know, they're cloaking or they're teleporting, which is just delaying the inevitable for them because they don't have enough damage to do what they need to do. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. If y'all did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, join the Empire. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Dre's Empire out. I'ma see ya.